Yo, Real 92.3, Bootleg Kev DJ Hed.
West
Our
Coast.
friend G-Eazy is here.
Yeah. What's up, family?
Scary Nights, the EP, man.
Yep.
Now, you've been working on the album for, feels like a long time. You've been putting, what I appreciate about what you've always done throughout your career is you've always given your fans something.
Right.
Like to hold them over.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was the SoundCloud days or you've been dropping the B-sides and now we got this EP. What, kind of give us the idea behind dropping this EP.
Just wanted to give the fans, you know what I'm saying, some love. Like, I felt like I've taken my time with this album, and it's a luxury to be able to do that. And, you know, I don't take it all for granted at all. So I wanted to be able to hold them over and just surprise them with, you know what I'm saying, a project out of the blue. And I've never really done that. I mean, and it's like times are changing, but there's no rules, you know.
True.
There's no rules to any of this. So being able to just release it on
Scary Nights,
all platforms. Yep.
I know you like into that shit. Like,
yeah.
Are you like? Are you one of them people who like are into like the goth shit, like the ghost shit, the stories?
Absolutely.
And damn, really?
Just darker music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to listen to like film scores and stuff. Like,
for real?
Like Dark Knight film scores, fire.
That's my favorite album is when it's dark out. The way fucking Random kicked off, it just felt dark. It felt like sinister. You feel me?
Yeah, that's just my vibe.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of that vibe on this, from what I've heard. And you say you have 100 songs.
Probably over. Probably about 115 now, something like that.
Now, that many songs, why keep recording? Or does it not feel right?
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's been, you know, if you're gonna take this much time, you know what I'm saying, you might as well do it justice and make sure that, because it's like you only get to release a project once. You know what I'm saying?
And it's out there.
You can't pull it back and be like,
okay,
let me do this again. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all a balance, bro, because you can get to a point where you're overthinking it too.
True.
You know, at that point, it's like, you know, I gave what I can give. You know what I'm saying? And it's all me in there. So
You've lived a lot of life from the last album too.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot of shit, a lot of different you know what I'm saying? Whether it's personal shit or whatever.
Absolutely. So I mean, you know, the album is kind of it's a full circle kind of project, bro. It's a sequel to the first album. These things happen too.
So yeah, I always wanted to know, like, what do you consider your first album? Because these things happen. It's not really your first album.
Nah,
I mean, it's your first album if you're like, Jerry from Scottsdale, and you heard Me, Myself, and I for the first time. That's like really like your third or fourth album, right?
I mean, if you count the mixtapes in high school and the mixtapes in college,
Gerald with the cornrows.
17th album, yeah,
Gerald with the cornrows.
Yo, where were you at where people were wearing the shirt with you with the?
I was in the Bay.
That was at Rolling Loud, right?
That. Yeah, my homies made that shirt. Yeah.
How crazy was it to do Rolling Loud in the Bay, man?
Many. It was one of those. So I'm sitting in my green room, before I performed, and my mom is chilling with Mac Wanda smoking, and I'm like looking at this situation where I'm like, you know, they do that at the Coliseum,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And the green rooms are like the suites. And I'm up here, you know what I'm saying, in the headliners green room at the Oakland Coliseum, and my mom's sitting here smoking with Mac Wanda. And for those that don't, that's Mac Dre's mother.
Mom, yeah.
You know, and they're real tight or whatever. So like, I'm just like, it's certain little moments that stand out to me that like,
wow.
Some people
bring it all in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, when did life become this? It's really many, like, and it was just kind of like, not overwhelming, but it was a moment of gratitude and just reflection of like, damn, like we are really here. Like, that's crazy.
When's the last time you had that similar feeling? Before that?
Before that, I mean, playing a show in somewhere like Austria, you know what I'm saying? We did a festival out there a couple months ago, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know where this is on a map.
Yeah, like, I don't know where I'm at.
I don't even know how to get to the house.
You know what I mean? Period, bro.
What kind of food do they eat here? Like,
yeah, and who are like these thousands of people in the crowd, and how do y'all like?
How did y'all find my shit?
Yeah, and it's many. I mean, it's like I really just take myself back to like slanging those first mixtapes in downtown Oakland, standing there on Broadway with a backpack
and you did
of
like
CDs.
Vans, like the Vans Warped Tour and shit a little too, right? Back
bro,
then.
I mean, it's been a long journey, so. I just, you know what I'm saying, no matter where you are, you're right there.
Do you ever have those moments like at the Rolling Loud, like in the green room, and you taking that in? You ever have those moments where you think about people who didn't fuck with you?
Absolutely.
So that's still in your mind. You still petty.
Shit, I'm Tom Petty.
Me too, man.
You ever?
But it's all. I mean, you know what though? I like, in all honesty, it's like, you know, I don't forget, but at the same time, I don't sweat it. I understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? I see it, I recognize it, but it's all love. Like, I don't really care.
100%. And you know, it's crazy because I remember like when you first got the major deal, and was it the Lil Wayne tour you were opening up on?
Yeah.
And you were like going on before everybody.
Yeah.
And it was like,
yeah, that summer was weird, man. It was like,
because that's like a weird
know, on
thing.
one hand, it's like my first big break. You would think like going on tour with Lil Wayne when Lil Wayne was like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's like, you know what I'm saying, has meant so much to me in my career, and like how, you know what I'm saying, I was the biggest Wayne fan, and here I am on tour with Wayne, but it's like I'm the first opener of 6 acts. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing to like 200 people scattered around this 10,000 cap. You know what I'm saying? It's crickets in there.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-minute set, and I didn't meet him the whole summer. You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
The whole tour you didn't meet him?
It was mania. It was like...
Did you ever try to sneak in his dressing room, like meet him and shit?
Nah, I swear, I think I saw him like off stage once. He's like the Wizard of Oz. He's just like, you know what I'm saying? He's that like mythical. It's crazy.
And then what's your relationship now with Wayne?
He's on the album.
So he's on...
Yeah, my probably, if not my favorite, like one of my favorite songs on the album.
You guys had that conversation? Like, you know, I was on tour with you and we never met on tour.
Nah.
You know, because now you're kind of a big deal. He
probably didn't even know I was on that tour.
That's so crazy.
Like, it was a little white boy.
So the Wayne record is one of your favorite?
Yeah, just it's like it's a hip-hop record. It's like, it kind of reminds me of, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Carter. Like
one of my favorite songs,
one of my
Carter 3,
ever.
man.
Yeah, so
that's the last album, like Wayne album I loved.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Carter 3.
Carter 3 fire.
Yo, I know you're a big hip hop fan, like a hip hop head. Like I feel like people don't give you that. Like you really respect the culture, man, and like, you know, have like knowledge of this shit. And I saw, you know, Gangstar just came out with a new record, which I thought was so fire.
Yeah.
What is your like?
I love Corday's album. I think
the Lost Boy album is fucking
one
amazing.
Of those, like, he's just gifted, bro. And I remember the first time I picked his brain because like I think it was we were filming the video for 1942 because White Man Out Here was, you know what I'm saying? So Corday pulled up to the shoot or something, and I remember pulling him to the side like, bro, like how do you like rap like this, bro? Because it's like you're this age. You know what I'm saying? And these your influences, you know what I'm saying, came before you were even born.
Like how'd that happen?
Yeah. How do you have it so innately in you? You know what I'm saying? Because you're a product of like what you're inspired by, what you were, you know what I'm saying, raised on, what you know, and you have big pun in you. You have early M in you. You know what I'm saying? You have like, and he was just like, man, my pops. So shouts out Corday's pops.
Shout out to Corday's dad, man.
But that album, yeah, that's a special album. You know what I'm saying?
What's another album this year that's really impressed you? I feel like there's been a few. It's kind of been like a chill year for hip hop, but I feel like the ones that stand out really stand out.
I'm trying to think.
I love the Freddie Gibbs Madlib album. Shout out to Madlib.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything else that sticks out?
Oh, off the top of my head.
Corday.
Yeah,
I agree. Corday's top 2 or 3 of the year, man. Shout out to Corday, man. Are we gonna get the album? I'm assuming next year is when the album's coming.
Probably top of the year.
Yeah, okay.
But don't quote me on it.
Don't quote.
You never know. You never know.
Surprise drop before the top of the year?
You never know. There's no rules anymore, bro.
Hey, so how do you feel about the Warriors dynasty being over, man?
It's not over. It's never over.
It is over.
Hey, let me tell you something. We just had P-Lo up here, right?
Yeah.
And it was a whole thing. So
hey, listen,
don't go down that worm.
I don't fuck with the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I do. Nah.
Is it over?
Those are my guys, and it's far from over, man. I mean,
it's not over.
No, it's not over at all, bro. I mean, like we built a culture over there that's like
there's a nice culture. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry, you know, he's got some cute shoes. And them Under Armours. Have you worn those? Of course you have.
I got a pair at the crib.
Yeah, they're in the box still.
My Steph's.
They're in the box still, aren't they?
I got a Puma deal, man. I mean, I will, but I can't.
Right. Shout out to Puma. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, you know, the culture that, you know, the original Splash Bros, you know,
before the snake came and, you know. I'm sorry.
Shouts out KD, man.
Shout out to KD.
We appreciate everything he did.
Yeah,
man.
he got y'all some rings, didn't he?
Hey, man, he helped. You know what I'm saying? We had a good thing going.
So me and P-Lo put $100 on the Warriors not even making it to the Western Conference Finals. Listen, and a Morton's dinner. We all ain't getting G-Eazy money. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Nah,
would you like to match this bet with me? I'm trying to bet all these Bay Area people.
I'll bet you
that y'all won't get to the Western Conference Finals.
I'll bet you a C-No.
Okay.
For sure.
It's done. I'm getting $200 from the Bay Area.
I'll shake.
I'm gonna go to Benihana's with that 200. You know what I'm saying?
Hilarious.
Shout out to P-Lo.
Yeah, double rice.
Hey, on the
extra garlic butter.
Come on,
extra
man.
garlic butter.
You know what's going on.
They gonna charge you for that shit too.
I just left Benihana's like 3 hours ago, which is why I smell like a fucking barbecue grill.
I was
right
gonna
now.
say, but damn. Huh?
That's why, man.
Hey, something I wanted to ask you about Spectacular Now off the last project you dropped. Was like a more personal record.
Yeah.
That I noticed like it was more open. Is there a song like that on the new project?
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
you always
boy.
are good for those like.
It's always like a standout that's like, oh
Yeah,
shit. He said,
I mean, there was a night that kind of like changed everything. And it was the night that everything would be okay. And I think that was the first time, you know, I challenged myself and been challenged by the people in the room to like go there.
And that was like your most personal record, man.
And I think like there's a real like Puff told me one time, he was like, bro, the best and most powerful and transcendent music is the most vulnerable.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying every song has to be in that space. You know what I'm saying? It's 24 hours in a day. There's many moods that you go through. But, you know what I'm saying? When you dig deep and cut yourself open and you're that vulnerable and real and honest, I think people can identify because we're all human and we all, you know, and it's like, damn, if somebody that I look up to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Spectacular Now, man, I love that song. That was a real special one. But we have some stuff on this album that's like farther than I've ever gone.
I'm curious, when your mom first heard Everything's Okay, like what was her reaction to that record?
You know what I'm saying? A lot of cry. Yeah.
I can
Me
imagine.
and my mom are real tight, man, and that's like that period of my life. That's
It's almost like you were telling her story a little too for her, you know?
Yeah.
That's big, man. So, you know, we touched on the Warriors. The Bay Area's you know, the Bay Area's
Hey,
lit
man,
right now.
I mean, you know what I'm
that's
saying?
called a pivot.
Yeah, my
G-Eazy.
Raiders are
Raiders are up.
they got one more win than losses, you know what I'm saying? And Niners are undefeated, you know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
first of all, you can't
my
pick
A's
both
made it
teams.
to the playoffs
No,
again.
no,
You know what I'm
listen,
saying? No,
listen.
I'm a Raiders fan.
Okay,
I'm
you're a
Raiders
Raider.
fan.
I'm about to say you can't pick both. You got to go with the Raiders as the dumpster fire. Are you going to still
Man,
be a
it was,
Raider?
it was sad. I was at the A's game, man. It's sad when you know
That was a
what's
wild
mania
card
about
game.
baseball is like you play 160 some games and it
And it
all
goes
comes
down to
down
one
to one
game.
night. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I can't get another shot at this.
No.
Are you
It's over.
gonna jump ship to the Niners when the Raiders move to Vegas?
You know, it's real weird, bro. It's real weird.
It's
to
a
think
weird
about.
situation to be
It's
in.
awkward.
You could be a Las Vegas Raider fan.
You're in
Kinda
Vegas
I feel
enough?
like the Bay would understand.
It's like an identity question. It's like, damn. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Am I still a fan? Are we still mobbing for them? Like,
Yeah.
Would you fly to Vegas for the home
it's
games?
Damn near, yeah. It's damn
You
near,
should
yeah.
still ride with the Raiders, man.
Yeah, no, it's damn near, yeah.
You would fly to Vegas for the home games
Well, you know what I'm saying? If I'm there.
if you there.
If I'm there. Yeah.
I remember I heard you say something about you took a $90,000 private jet to get some ass or some shit like that.
You know,
Is that a true story?
man, this album is out at midnight.
Well, I was just saying, it came to my mind when I was talking about
You know,
flying to
hey,
Vegas.
You need what you need, man. I mean, if your mind's on something, you know.
Yo, you were in the
That's crazy.
Hustlers movie. Getting your little.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you've been doing some light acting. You had the little like indie joint that you did.
Yeah.
But
No, but Hustlers, man, I mean, so yeah, I got this movie agent, and she believes in me. She found Johnny Depp.
Bro,
and
you should be
Spencer
in
Trevor,
movies,
and
man.
She said,
Yes, you
she
should.
said to me, you know, I've only ever felt this way about one other person, and that was
Johnny
Johnny.
Depp.
And you have this real potential in this space, and I've always wanted to get into acting, and I mean, just the opportunity in Hustlers was dope to just get to be on a movie set and like get my feet wet.
Hell
and,
yeah.
like, you know, my first dabble in that world, and it was, you know, it was hella fun.
Anybody give you some tips? Like somebody, another actor, you know, maybe somebody on set, acting coach.
did you take acting tips from J-Lo? Probably not the best person to take acting tips
Nah,
from.
but she was hella nice.
I bet she was.
I'll take acting. I'll take whatever.
I'll
tips
take
from-
any tip J-Lo gives.
Facts.
Right. Shout out to A-Rod.
J-Lo figured life out, you know what I'm saying?
So did A-Rod. God bless
Man.
him.
West Coast.
But, yeah.
Damn.
No.
Man. Yeah.
No, go ahead. About the acting tips.
Nah, you know,
Coach.
just to like, you know, be present and to feel it and to just, you know, that sounds obvious, but it's like, you know, if you're not thinking about the lines, you know what I'm saying, and you're really just like present,
It's organic.
engaged, and then organic, yeah. It's like,
Any other movie roles coming up?
we'll see. I'm just focused on finishing this album right now.
So we're on music, we're on the music
Yeah.
vibe right now. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I feel like you get what you give, and my all is being given to this album right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not done. I'm still like, you know, still working.
You talked obviously your mom and Mac Dre's mom hanging out. I know there's a lot of there's a lot of Tupac verses out there. Is there a lot of Mac Dre verses out there for there to be like a dream collab with you and Mac?
Yeah, we've been searching. Would have to, you know what I'm saying, having like have the respect for like how monumental that would be. You know what I'm
For
saying?
the city,
doing it
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, doing it right. Yeah, we got a little something in the works.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
A little something, something.
Yeah, something for the Bay. You know,
That's fair.
You
Something
put
for home.
on, dog, for the Bay. I give you that.
More, hey man, I tell it. Me and our boy
Yeah.
Salas, we had an argument about this, and I was like, I don't think there's anybody who's ever like put on for their city so hard. Like, you took everybody on tour, like from the whole jump. It's to the Bay to the universe.
I mean, I think
like,
I think the dope thing about touring is like, you know, you kind of get to decide to an extent of like, okay, like who do I want to share this platform with?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Who if I had the chance, who would I put y'all on to? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm kind of like motivated selfishly in a way of like wanting to, you know, put on what I like. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, whether there's bringing Neff out or, you know what I'm saying, even like Kehlani, you know what I'm saying, on her first tour. You know, I just saw Kehlani and was like, you know, so blown away and so just like, this is special. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world needs to, you know, so if any type of, if it's giving game, if it's, you know, bringing on tour.
But even outside of
like
the tours.
Feature, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was going to say.
You know, you
Outside of
tapping
the
in on
tours, you
everybody's
no
shit.
stranger to grabbing the new whoever it is and giving them a look. Like, that's dope.
I mean, even for the LA cats, you're on RJ's album, like
West Coast.
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, if I fuck with you, it's love, you know?
100%, man.
And if I fuck with the music, man, I mean, if something moves me, you know, it doesn't matter if you got 500 followers or, you know, 5 million. It doesn't matter. It's like, you know.
So there's some random G-Eazy verse out there right now with some random Bay dude that just, that's what's up.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Nah,
it's
I mean,
love.
he was on Burners last. Like, you were on Burners.
I'm not
last
saying
time?
burner. I'm talking about
I'm talking about like he's always tapped in with like.
I'm talking about literally just somebody you just
Yeah.
found they shit and was like, oh, I'm dope and
Yeah.
I'll jump on it for you.
Hell yeah,
That's what's up.
Absolutely.
The last project you and M dropped on the same day,
Yeah.
and I thought that was like a day where like I felt like like the numbers you put up, and I feel like it was like anybody who might have been second guessing like how big of a star you were. It's like, yo, my guy's like out here. Like I think
at the end of the day, numbers still like, you know, like not validate, but like you see numbers and it's like, okay, wow, that's.
It's like that's what the haters like. That what makes them shut up.
To me, it's the people, bro. It's like, you know, there's this fan who, you know, I met her a couple times because she kept coming to shows, traveling, coming to meet and greets, and she had this big tattoo of my face on her. And I said that you don't have to keep paying for these meet and greets. Like,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? I just like, you have a lifetime pass.
Of
I
course.
appreciate. And then, you know what I'm saying? I've literally kept in touch with her. And she has tattoos, G-Eazy related tattoos all over her body.
No, I've seen.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
It's
I
like,
might have saw her in Orlando.
I mean,
Yeah, we were in Orlando
like,
with the Ferg tour, and there was a
came
girl
to
who had
show, like
30
shows in Europe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For
And
real?
Like, and yeah, and like I
That's
just
crazy.
like that to me means so much more than any kind of numerical like validation. Because to me, that's a human being that you've impacted. You know what I'm saying with this music stuff, and it's like if that kind of connection can be made, and it's that deep and it's that real, then that's like you're doing something right.
Well, I always feel like, you know, when it comes, I know like throughout the years, like whether it's getting snubbed from the freshman cover, or there was like a year that like Joe Budden and a bunch of people did the hottest MCs list, and to me that was like your biggest. I remember that was the year you had headlined the tour with Logic, and like you didn't even get mentioned in that conversation, which I thought was crazy. I went off on Twitter like, my guy is doing more tickets, like he's selling hard tickets and got hit records. Like, do you like? I know that like at a point in time that shit used to kind of fuck with you a little bit because you're obviously it's a sport and you're from the culture.
And I'm absolutely so my competitive nature and just my drive and my like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that. If I just didn't care, I'd just be. I just chill. I just exist.
You wouldn't drop these random EP?
Nah. But at the same time, I don't like. I think kind of almost like on a mental health level. I don't place my own sense of self or identity or like validation
on other people's opinions
on an opinion or like an accolade or like, you know, the thing that always fucks me up like with award shows and stuff like that is like, you know, say like a sport. Like the Olympics, like you run faster than this person.
It's
won.
measurable.
You know what I'm saying? You won faster. You got.
It's
the
not
gold.
subjective.
You know, it's like in music, you can't say or a movie or whatever. It's like, you know, who's to say? You know what I'm saying? But
it's art.
Yeah. period.
That's fair, man.
I got I'm curious to know what your ear is like when looking at artists outside of like California, this region and shit like. Because you were hella early on the Cardi Cardi B, with No Limit and shit like that. I feel like that record kind of low key helped her a lot.
For sure.
I mean, it obviously was your record.
Hey, man, high tides,
Bodak.
high tides rise all ships.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? That was a win-win across the board, man. And still to this day, man, I love Cardi.
You keep in touch with her?
Yeah, and she, you know what I'm saying? She's in Hustlers too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
God bless her. She is.
Yeah.
Great casting, by the way. Great casting for to have her in there. Hey, so Scary Nights, what's your top 5 like horror movies ever, G?
The OG Halloween is up there, like the
first
original
one.
I just think like it's such a classic, from the music, it's so iconic, to like the way it's shot, to like the little subtleties in it. I would almost consider the new Joker a horror film.
I haven't seen it yet, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a superhero film at all. It's more of like a horror, like.
I would say it's more like a. You ever seen that movie Split? It's like a psycho, thriller type of shit.
Yeah, I don't know. There's this movie called Mother. I don't know if I would call it a horror film, but it's definitely like a mind fuck, like psychological thriller type. You know what I'm saying? Weird, like
a mind fuck.
Yeah. Damn.
2 more.
I mean, I would say I like the first It.
Like the old school It, or the last one?
Nah, the last one.
Second It wasn't that good, for the record.
Nah, I didn't like the second.
Very
I
disappointing.
didn't like the second one as much at all. God, I
You ever
hate
fuck
lists.
with like House of a Thousand Corpses or any of that like crazy the Rob Zombie joints?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, probably just Nightmare on Elm Street. That's such
a good
like
one. That's a safe
you
one.
know, that's a classic. Yeah, it's safe, but like, you know, it's like a child molester got killed and comes back to mess with their kids and their dreams.
No, that's a pretty fucked up idea.
Think about that. Like, who
They wouldn't do that shit in 20 like there's no way like a new.
No.
It's crazy like the shit that wouldn't fly in 2019. Like that.
Yeah. man.
Certain
Like
words.
the water boy wouldn't come out.
Crazy
Certain words and terminology.
It's like so I love clips, man. And Mr. Me
Of
Too
course.
was always one of my favorite songs, and I thought about
Hell
it.
Hath No Fury, one of my top 5
I
albums
played
ever.
Mr. Me Too the other night, and then I dawned on me that song could never work today.
Of course
Facts.
not.
Mr. Me Too.
Yeah, everything gets taken away from us.
That a lot of people don't know. Hey, by the way, that song was about Wayne. A lot of people don't know that.
That's crazy.
Shout out to Wayne, man. Shout out
Wayne.
Shout out to Clips. What's your favorite Clips album? Is it
Probably that one.
Hell Hath No Fury?
Yeah, Hell Hath No Fury. Classic.
Well, yo, G,
Hey, I wanted to ask you on the last project, you two, I know you shouted out Nip. Like Nipsey, and this year has been a crazy year for everybody. Were you able to like connect with him before he passed and shit like that?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Puma Connects.
Yeah, it was through the Puma stuff, and like those convos are, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll have those forever.
Did y'all ever get in and do some music? Like,
Nah, but we talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It was crazy. We were talking about like our favorite M albums, our favorite Hove albums.
Yeah.
Like, just, you know what I'm saying? He was real, like, you know, like hip hop head, you know what I'm saying?
he was tapped in too.
Tapped in, bro, with like, obviously him as a lyricist was, you know what I'm saying? Like, but his appreciation, you know what I'm saying? His like studying of the game, his attention to detail and craftsmanship, and you know, just the level of quality.
Hey, I know you and Kels got past whatever blip you guys had. Any chance you guys ever make a record together?
Yeah, that's my guy. Man.
That'd be crazy.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
that'd
like
be,
that.
that'd be-
Nah, bro, that's the story is so many, bro. It's like you literally can't write this. I was in Paris Fashion Week, and I'm sitting at a table with Push, Pharrell.
Wow. Okay.
And
Light flex.
I'm sitting here
He's
at
at
the table.
He's at the Star Trek table.
Look at that for you.
And
Light flex.
I'm talking about this, and then Don C tapped me. He was like, "Yo, Cudi wants to holler at you," and I'm like, "What?
What?
Like?" And I had never really, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't met
You hadn't
Cudi
tapped
like
in with
that.
him yet,
Nah. And I walk over, and Cudi's like, you know what I'm saying? We talk for a minute, and he's like, "G, you just got to do one thing for me, man. Promise me you'll do it." And I'm like, huh? And he's like, bro, you and Kels got to just, you know what I'm saying, make peace. And I kid you not, like at this moment, Kels walked in the party. Like it wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
That's universe.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's some shit, yeah.
Yeah, and like it was just like, immediately, it was like, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. And that's
Cudi.
that.
So Cudi was the kind of the guy who
It's
kind
crazy,
of the bridge.
bro. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this.
That's
Now, had he not said that to you and he just walked in,
It would have happened eventually.
Okay,
bro. I mean,
okay.
'cause
You guys
from
got enough
the-
mutual
from-
friends.
Yeah, bro. From the moment we clicked in the first place, bro, it's like me and you are like the same bro in so many ways. You know?
Yeah. You guys are both great guys. I know that's got to be a big deal for for Kels to get like, because I remember when Kels first came out, he had like that chip on his shoulder that like the cool guys from Cleveland weren't really fucking with him, like Cuddy and Stally and those guys. So that's big, man. That's got to be that might be man. That'd be a big record.
I like that, G.
Yeah.
The
Bro, life is short, bro, and it's, you know what I'm saying, it's just about, you know what I'm saying, spread love. Let's all get money.
Some fucking timeless music, man.
Stay positive and just make good shit.
I gotta ask you. We just world premiered "I Wanna Rock." That shit. That's just a banger. I like that one better than the other one, actually.
Thank you.
I'm a West Coast nigga.
Full-time cappers.
Yeah, I can't wait for y'all to hear rest, bro.
The rest of the shit.
It's a record with Miguel and Game that it's one of my favorite songs I've ever been a part of. It was so many. I wrote the verse. I wrote the verse, and then Miguel was in the hallway at the studio, working in another room. You know what I'm saying? He was just supposed to talk to somebody in the hallway. And I'm like, like Miguel is like, that cat's
he's a fucking goat, man.
Yeah, he's for real a goat. And I was like, yo, Miguel, like, come peep this. Let me know what you think. But I never liked the press cats. I don't know.
Of course,
like,
of course,
you know what I'm saying? So
he was like, let me play it for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see what he says. And he was like, bro, I never heard you rap like this. This is crazy. And he was like, you want to hook on it? I'm like, I mean,
of course.
I mean, that was the plan. You know what I'm saying?
That was the plan this whole time.
Hell yeah, I want to hook.
And then
here going Mike.
Yeah, and he just, he just went into the booth and just started, you know what I'm saying, vibing on something, and it came out crazy. And then I was like, we started talking about game in the studio. And, you know what I'm saying, I still remember, like, in high school, jumping off the bus and going to Rasputin on my way home and picking up the documentary.
Oh, I remember that.
And playing that CD front to back, over and over and over and over and over. Like, I love that album.
Sure.
And, Game's really, like, as far as lyricists go, like, acknowledge that fact. The Game is, like,
extremely consistent with his discography.
So we was talking about Game randomly, and my homie Aunt Clement was like, yo, that's my homie. I talk to him all the time. FaceTime Game, he played him the beat. This cat said he wrote his verse while the shit was playing. You know what I'm saying?
Game is a beast.
He pulled up like 20 minutes later, went straight in the booth. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the one I'm gonna go to first tonight when it drops.
I knowing you as well as I know you, as long as I've known you, bro, like that's gonna be your favorite one I've had.
Well, G, we appreciate you pulling up. The project is dropping tonight. Anyway, G, thanks for pulling up.
Yeah, love.
My son's definitely hitting me up because he wants to FaceTime with you because you're the first time he's ever been around half naked women in your trailer.
And there's some girls that want pictures too.
It was the night that I proposed to my wife. I don't know if you remember me having my kid in your trailer, and there was like there was just some real some scallywags in there.
Hey man, it's rock and roll.
It's rock and roll.
It's rock and roll.
Some scallywags.
Oh yeah, some scallywags.
I don't know what that is.
All right, man. Let's get to it. Arizona scallywags. Let's go. It's Real 92.3.